Psycho Betty showed his ass this episode. Let's talk about If Loving You Is Wrong. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny. Now remember, subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also follow all the information I have in the description box. Also like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And this is If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 5, Episode 15. And the name of this episode is Red Paint. And before I get started, let me send a special shout out to my YouTube partner, BK World Tube, where you get everything from black television. You know, go there right now and set up an account and start watching all of the great content that they have to offer. And also, If Loving You Is Wrong is showcased on that channel, with BK World Tube as well. So shout out to them. Go check them out. The link is in the description box, and it will also be in the comment section. Now let's get started with this review. We go back to the jail where Kelly is now being released from prison. She was so ecstatic that she leaned this big kiss onto Lucian. Carl was like, maybe it's time for me to say goodbye. I was like, I like Carl. Carl's cool, but she pretty much thanks Carl, and she says that, I'd like to invite you to dinner. And Carl's like, yeah, we can make that happen. So then Lucian calls Kelly out about the kiss, like, what was that about? And she's like, look, I was just happy. I didn't mean anything by it. She's like, I know that you're with Natalie and all that. I was just overcome with emotion, and I just kissed you because I was so happy. And he was saying that Natalie means the world to me. And she's like, of course I know that. I hope you didn't take it that I was coming on to you. I was just happy. And next thing you know, we see Eddie's old trifling ass. He done taped the whole damn thing with his phone, so he got the kiss and everything, and pretty much says that, I'm about to shake this up and I can make this into like, a little hot video. Bob chicka wow wow. I was like, Eddie, you evil bitch. Oh shit. And Lucian was here for, he's like, give me the damn phone. He tried to take the phone from Eddie. Eddie put it in his pants. It's like, come inside and get it. I know you want to. I'm like, see, Eddie's suspect like shit. Eddie be trying to play like he this tough straight dude, but he wants somebody to take him down and to take that man ass. Like, let's just be real. Eddie is very suspect because he's forever dabbling with it. But then, it's that DL shit. You try to play off this straight demeanor, but yet you got a lot of bitch tendencies that you're trying to hide. And Eddie is the prime example of that shit. Because he has a lot of bitch tendencies. Like, you was gonna fucking sit up here and try to get this girl trapped to go to prison all because she was talking shit to you. And at the end of the day, Kelly's innocent and she has no business being locked up. But you was gonna try to fuck with her anyway. And, and all of a sudden he starts talking shit to Kelly. And Kelly was like, he's like, what the hell you doing? Get back in your cell. She's like, I'm free, baby. It's like, what the hell you mean? All that evidence. He's like, yeah. And clearly the evidence has proven that I'm innocent, and they labeled it as self-defense. I'm gone. I'm free. The devil tried to bind me, talking about Eddie's ass, but she's like, but he freed me. Despite of all you tried to plan, God set me free. And I'm like, you better preach, girl. I was here for it. But then, Lucian was going in on Eddie, was like, I shot your ass before, right? And he's like, yeah. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because you shot me. I'm like, Eddie is so simple. As I said, Eddie wants to antagonize everybody, but once you come for him, he gets in his feelings. That's why I said suspect behavior. And he calls one of his friends and says that, yo, I'm about to send you a video. I want you to edit it for me. So he's going to set that shit up and is going to try to show it to Natalie to try to break up her and Lucian. And I'm like, Eddie is about to cause a lot of havoc. But it's just kind of indicating that, yeah, Eddie is literally on a suicide mission, and eventually somebody's gonna take his ass out. The question is who. So after that happened, we see that Larry comes up and talks to Eddie, and pretty much he tells Eddie, I want my money back in 24 hours. You lied to me and told me that there were no copies. And he says that money is from a group of powerful people, and they won't mind paying you a visit. And Eddie's still on his shit. Well, fine. Tell the asses to come visit me. I want them to. And I was just like, Eddie got a damn death wish. Literally. Because, first you got the damn video, and you fucking with Lucian and in Natalie's relationship, and then you got $50,000, which belongs to some people who probably could cut your fucking head off, and you still talking cash shit. Suicide mission, as I said. Then we finally see Betty and Tanya, aka the Crazies, because that's what I call them, because they both crazy as shit. And I was like, wow, long time no see, because we haven't seen them since the first episode of the season. And she pretty much had made lunch for them, and he says, your cooking is amazing, and she's like, stop saying that, you're just saying that just to make me feel good, you don't have to lie. And I'm like, bitch, take a compliment. This motherfucker said your food was good, accept it, what the hell. But then and then we see that Randall is outside dumping his trash, and Tanya is focusing in on Randall. She's like, I wonder about that guy. And of course, Bennett's like, has he bothered you again? And she was like, no, he hasn't bothered me. But he's just kind of a dork. I mean, he just never goes anywhere or does things. I mean, does he have a job? Does he do anything? Like, he's just always here. And pretty much, he again asks, is the man bothering you? And she says, no. And he's like, okay, good. And by the way he answered it, she looked at him and was like, you did something. And he's like, I gotta go back to the station. I'm like, you did. And she knew it. But then she was saying that, I know that my situation has really, put you through a lot. And I called my parents, and they said I could stay with them for a while, because I know that this has been hard on you. And he says, I won't hear of it. You're my wife. I'm gonna protect you. And that's all that matters. And he pretty much says that, look, if anybody knocks if anybody knocks at that door, you let me know about it. And she was like, I don't know, Bennett, you know how you are with your temper. I'm like, yeah, we done already seen how that temper done fucked up Randall's house. We seen how he got down on the mid-season finale of season 5, where he kicked down the door and fucked Randall's shit all the way up. And I was so here for it too, because Randall just been doing the most. So he pretty much tells her, because he's pretty much on his lunch break, that he has to go back to the station. So once he comes out the house, him and Randall run into each other, and they start talking. And Randall pretty much says, I apologize about what went down with between me and your wife. And he was saying that do you know anything about my house? My house was vandalized. Did you see anyone go into my house? And he was like, no, why would I do that? And we can see that the situation gets very intense between Randall and Bennett, and the fact that both of them are mentally unstable. We see that Randall, who's an evil mastermind, is kind of getting sense that both of them are unstable, so he's playing around, because he gets a thrill off of fucking with people's heads. But then it gets to the point where Bennett, flexes. It was like, you don't want to test me because I can be a neighbor from hell. And he was like, is that a language from a firefighter? Really? And he was like, a firefighter who was a former Marine. Try me if you want to. And I was like, okay, Bennett. Bennett ain't afraid of fucking Randall. Like, Randall will gets his ass beat all the time, and yet he will still come back and be an asshole. Which is why I said Miss Louise did a serious disservice with her child. because obviously this child has had mental issues ever since she was a kid. But instead of him going to see a doctor, she just gave him a glass of chocolate milk and told him to smile. Like, seriously. So shit is really bad with that. But also shout out to my YouTube family, Lynette and Stanley from Random TV Reviews. They used to review this show, and they used to call Miss Louise Shimmering Lights. I would crack up every time they said it, you know, because she had her little gray wig and was always put together. I wonder what happened to her ass. Last time we saw her, she was in the hospital. But I think probably as she checked out, she went the fuck back home, because, you know, that damn child of hers is a mess, and it's at a point where she can't control him anymore. You know, he's literally a loose cannon, and I just think that Randall gonna end up in the grave. Yeah, somebody's gonna take out Psycho Betty too. Eddie and Randall are gonna meet horrible ends. So then back at the bar, Alex and Johnny are talking. And he asked her, so who was that black guy? She was like, oh, he's my former neighbor. And he was like, well, make sure that he don't come back here again. And she's like, oh, he won't. He already know what's going to happen to him if he does. And she says she wants another drink, but Johnny gives her coffee. He's like, look, I need you to be somewhat stable if you're going to be in bed with me. You know, I wouldn't want you sick in my bed. So Johnny already kind of put it out there that he want to smash her. And she's, you know, all in with it. And she was like, you know what? I have been locked away playing mommy, and I'm so sick of it. I was like, Alex was fucked up, and it's literally to the point she don't give a shit. So, and she's like, I want to drink, and she was like, he's like, yeah, you want to drink some coffee? And she was like, that's a mom's drink. That's what the moms drink when they take their kids to soccer practice and shit. And he was like, yeah, and they're hot moms who do it. So be like the hot mom and drink your coffee. Then we see Esperanza and Steven show up, and I'm like, Esperanza gets on my last nerve. Literally. She pissed me off this entire episode because, again, she's involving herself in Alice's life, trying to be holier than thou, saying she needs to come back and she needs to speak to her children. You can't just walk away from your family and blah, blah. I'm like, bitch. And then, in the process, threw Marcy under the bus and said that Marcy put your baby on his stomach. And Brad thought that the baby wasn't breathing. And all of that, and I'm like, oh really, bitch? And I always felt that Esperanza has always had it out for Marcy, because Marcy was the true victim in that whole situation between Alex and Randall, and she went and took Alex's side. It's like, to her, Alex is the grand all be all. Alex is the victim, when Alex really is a selfish, you know, narcissistic bitch who wants everything for herself. And she's literally acting out who she truly is. Even though I think she's schizophrenic like shit, but still, there's truth to this. Alex is very fucking selfish. She's very manipulative, and she's just off the hinges. And here she is trying to, oh, Alex, you need to come home. You need to say to your children how you feel. And I'm like, you just wanted to bring her back to cause more mess. You know, that's why Brad was like, let her ass go. She grown. But no, she's going to involve herself in Alice's life. If any damn thing, you need to be making sure you get your shit together, because Eddie is about to come for that ass, Esperanza. While you thinking that you all this, that you that bitch, you know, Eddie is ready to take your ass down after you done file custody papers to take away his parental rights. So, bitch, get your own house in order and stop involving yourself in Alex shit with your dumb ass. So, pretty much, Alex ends up leaving with them, you know, because, you know, Esperanza wasn't going to stop until she got what she wanted, which was crazy. And then it was funny while Stevens was there, because Stevens went to the bar while Esperanza talked to Alex, and Johnny pulled that same shit that he tried with Randall, like, well, if you ain't gonna buy a drink, you need to wait outside. Stevens flashed that badge, Johnny sung a totally different tune. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought, motherfucker. And that's what happened. So then down at the police station, we see that Bennett comes. He talks to Rick and tells him he wants to file a police report that his neighbor's harassing his wife, and he mentions the name Randall Holmes. Of course, Rick was like, well, that name is very known to us here, but I'll get the paperwork. And while he's going to go get the paperwork, here Eddie come with the bullshit. Like, Eddie was just in the middle of... Eddie is literally stirring the pot this entire episode. So Eddie comes up and he's saying that, so have you been keeping that bitch quiet? And he was like, first of all, my wife is not a bitch. Oh, you the one that, one of those types that respects they women. He's like, Eddie don't love them hoes. I'm like, Eddie, what the fuck is wrong with you, son? Like, he just involved himself in this situation, and then Rick comes back with the paperwork and is about to take it down. He's like, I got this. And then Eddie's like, and then Rick was like, well, he's like, I got this. So Rick was like, fine. So all of a sudden, he pretty much was about to fill out Bennett was going to fill out paperwork, and then Eddie was like, no, you don't need this. No, you don't need that. You want me to pull a bullet in his head for you? He's like, what? He's like, come on now. Everybody's saying Black Lives Matter and all lives matter and shit. Hey, if you can get a gun in his hand, he's done for. Let me handle this shit for you. And Benny was like, you sick. I can't. And he just left. And then Eddie's like, oh, dumbass. People say they want to solve a problem, but then once you give them a solution, they don't want to do it. What the hell? And then starts walking away singing Sweet Low Sweet Chariot. I'm like, Eddie, you are on a bus ride straight to hell. Like, seriously. That was hilarious. I was like, this fool came, this Eddie, there really is no saving Eddie at all. Eddie's gotta go. As much as I live for Eddie's character, Eddie gotta go, because Eddie is doing the most. Then we get this crazy scene with Larry and Carl. He invites Carl in, but really what he's doing is that he's trying to get in Carl's head to find out how he got all that information to get Kelly exonerated. And he pretty much does it by offering him a job at the firm that he'll make $250,000 a year, and plus we charge our clients $500 an hour and all that. And he tells him that he was impressed on how he did the work on Kelly's case, and he was like, well, how did you do it? And he was like, well, I'm not at liberty to talk about that. He's like, well, why not? What are you nervous? And then here come Larry with the bullshit, saying that, yeah, I spoke to your law professors. And he was like, why would you do that? He was like, I was just checking in about you, and they said that you were just an average student. And he was like, first of all, I was one of the best. And then it gets to the point where Larry becomes even more aggressive. He's like, look, he's still trying to get information out of Carl, and Carl is not budging. He's not giving Larry what he wants, and he pretty much saying that, I'm going to let you know something. If you don't give me that information, how you was able to get the help that you needed to get this, because I know you didn't act alone. I know someone helped you with this shit. So this is your last chance to give me the information I want, or I can and will ruin your career in this state. And Carl was like, you know what? I bid you good day. And he's like, if you walk out of here, that's the end of you. Carl walked the fuck out. And I'm like, see, I love Carl because Carl is a man of morals and integrity. Larry is an evil bastard. And I can say in this scene, Larry and Eddie are kindred spirits, because as soon as he leaves, all of a sudden, doom, 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 another one bites the dust. That's exactly what Larry said. I was like, oh shit, because just like all the Hall of Fame of Eddie, Larry has the same thing with other attorneys. So I'm saying they kindred spirits, and I think the showdown is going to be between Larry and Eddie, and one of them ain't going to come up alive. We just going to see how that's going to play out. So then we get a scene with Tanya and Randall. She's taking out the trash. Randall again starts talking to her, and she says, don't talk to me. So she goes to dump the trash. Randall when his messy ass goes into the trash can and sees a can of red spray paint. He goes in there and tests it on the wall and sees that it's the exact same spray paint. So he already done added it all up that Bennett was the one that vandalized his house. So then he goes over, knocks on her door, and he just antagonizes her, and and pretty much says that, and she pretty much says, "Leave me the hell alone. My husband will be here any second, and my husband is known to have a temper. So you need to leave me the hell alone." And then all of a sudden, he's still fucking with her, and he was like, "Well, I see that we on our meds today, but you do realize you can't get pregnant while you're on those, right?" And she just starts screaming because Randall won't leave her alone. She screams so loud that Marcy and Natalie hears her. So Natalie goes out there, because Natalie nosy. She nebby as hell. Natalie goes outside. She sees Randall walking back to his house, and she goes off on Randall and was like, "Won't you leave that woman alone?" He was saying that, "What's wrong with you? Like, shoot, you in the hood? Since when in the hood do you go investigate what the hell's going on? I mean, mostly when you're in the hood, you mind your business." And I'm like, Randall, you gonna keep, like, you're the last person to say anybody's ghetto, because let's be real here. When it comes down to the suburbs is nothing but a pretty ghetto. It's just as ghetto as any other, projects or public housing that you go to. The suburbs is the same thing, only with prettier houses and lawns and backyards. That's the only difference. But the same personalities and some of the same bullshit that goes on in the hood goes on in the suburbs as well. So Randall's dumb as fuck, because you thinking that you're so above the ghetto, when in reality you are just as ghetto as people who are in the ghettos. You just have a prettier a prettier environment than the motherfuckers in the ghetto, but still the same bullshit goes on. So pretty much she pretty much tells Randall that, "Look, somebody gonna get your ass one day, Randall. Keep this shit up. Somebody is really gonna hurt you bad." And he's like, "Are you threatening me?" She's like, "No, I'm not threatening you, but I'm letting you know you need to stop fucking with people, and I'm gonna tell that woman's husband you over there messing with her again." And he's like, "I don't care. I don't give a shit. You can tell his ass. I want to see his ass anyway, blah, blah, blah." And he going back and forth with Natalie. Natalie then picks up a stick from the ground and beats Randall's ass into his house like he a 5-year-old kid. I was like, "Oh shit, that's my girl." She fucked Psycho Betty up. She's like, he's like, "I'm gonna call the police on y'all." Oh my god, she's like, "Go ahead, call him then." He's like, "I will." And just shut the door back. His ass ain't come back out there. now ain't nothing to fuck with. Oh shit, that was so damn funny. She whooped his ass. Then we see she goes to check in on Tanya, and we see that her and Tanya have a very good rapport with each other. But yeah, that scene had me dying. She whooped his ass. And I was so here for Psycho Betty getting her ass whooped, because she doing too much. And then all of a sudden, after she talks to Tanya and checks in on her, Marcy comes out, and her and Marcy and Natalie talk. And she's like, "I heard this woman screaming. What's going on?" She said Randall messing with her again. And she pretty much says that you were watching the baby? And she was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "You put the baby on his stomach?" And she was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Really, Marcy? You know you're not supposed to do that." So I'm thinking, Natalie's like, did you intentionally do that hoping that the baby would die? Are you trying to kill that baby? But Natalie's like, but then Marcy's like, "No, I'm not trying to kill him. He's too adorable. I didn't mean to do it. It was a mistake." So we leave that alone. But then again, it kind of looks like, Marcy, are you trying to kill the baby so that the baby so you can be relieved of it? But yeah, that shit's crazy. So then we see Marcy and Brad have a conversation. They're talking. She mentions that, Randall's over there fucking with the neighbor and all that shit. And then the next thing you know, Alex, Esperanza, and Stevens walk in. And I'm like, see, Esperanza is such a bitch. You could have just left Alice where the fuck she was at, but no, you want to drag her in trying to fix things when all she did was just make the situation worse. And pretty much Alice was like, fine, I'm here to just grab my stuff and I'm leaving, you know. And pretty much Brad pretty much tells Alex, I'm taking the house. And she was like, dude, you can have this boring ass piece of cookie cutter bullshit of a house. I don't give a shit. You can have it. And he was like, and I want full custody of the kids. And she was like, great, fine, I don't have to deal with this shit anymore. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna tell them now. Brad wouldn't let her go all the way upstairs. Like, you're not gonna come in front of our children drunk like this. And she was like, hey, well, fuck it, I tried. And then she walks out and goes to Randall's house. Both Esperanza and Stevens are following her. And then she knocks on Randall's door. It's like, open up, bitch. And Randall lets her in. And, you know, Esperanza is all in her feelings, like, oh my god. And like, Stevens like, look, you can't control her. Like, look, there's nothing you can do. Was what I'm saying, which is why Esperanza should have minded her own fucking business. But as Esperanza always does, she's all up in Alice's shit and always trying to, oh, you're just gonna walk away from your children and all that. Well, better off now, because shit, if she don't give a damn about them kids, why are you trying to bring her back? Seriously. So she goes over there with Randall, goes to his booze and starts drinking and shit. And he's telling her to get the hell out of my house. And then next thing you know, we see Alex starts to go downtown, you know, and starts to, you know, put her mouth on the curb, the cock. And then all of a sudden, you just see Randall, Alex, get the hell out of my house. Get the hell out of my house. I'm like, yeah, Psycho Betty was still waiting for Alex to slide that knob, because all of a sudden he's like, get out of my house. Get the hell out of my house. Get out of my I was like, that was done, Joe. Yeah, that was pretty much the episode, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So until next time, everybody, take care. Oh god, Psycho Betty is a crazy bitch.